People talk about failure as if it happens once. It doesn't. Failure comes in waves. First, it tests your confidence. Then it tests your patience. Then it tests your identity. The most dangerous moment is not the first failure. It is the moment you start asking yourself, how many times am I allowed to fail before I stop trying? This is a story about a man who did not fail once. He failed repeatedly. And at every point, quitting felt reasonable, logical, even wise. If you've ever failed more than once and wondered whether continuing was foolish, this story is for you. He didn't start out reckless, he started out hopeful. He had worked for years, saving carefully, avoiding shortcuts. When the opportunity to invest in a family business came up, it felt right. After all, family meant trust. Family meant shared responsibility. Money was contributed. Plans were discussed. Promises were made. But reality unfolded differently. Some family members were careless, others were passive. A few quietly benefited without contributing effort. When problems appeared, accountability disappeared. Bills piled up, decisions were delayed. Responsibility slowly landed on his shoulders alone. What hurt the most wasn't the loss of money. It was the realization that not everyone treats shared resources as personal responsibility. When the business finally collapsed, people walked away easily. He couldn't, because he had carried the weight, and that was the first time quitting crossed his mind. After the family business failed, he replayed everything. If I had chosen better partners, if I had insisted on structure, if I had trusted my instincts instead of emotions. Regret became loud. Still, he didn't give up. He tried again, this time alone. Smaller scale, lower risk, more control. But experience didn't spare him. The market shifted, costs rose unexpectedly. Effort didn't translate into returns. Another failure. This one hurt differently. Because now there was no one else to blame. He began questioning his judgment, his intelligence, his future. That's when quitting stopped feeling emotional and started feeling practical. The third attempt wasn't ambitious, it was cautious. He told himself, let me just try something simple. But life doesn't adjust its difficulty to your exhaustion. Unexpected expenses returned. Support systems were thin. Motivation struggled to keep up with reality. At this point, people around him began to advise him quietly, maybe this isn't your path. Not everyone is meant for this. You've tried enough. And for the first time, he agreed. He wasn't angry. He wasn't emotional. He was tired. That's the most dangerous state of all. Because quitting in exhaustion feels justified. He stepped back and reflected deeply. And this is what he understood. Truths many never realize. 1. Failure is common. Quitting is optional. Failure happens to everyone who is trying to build something real. It doesn't select people based on intelligence, education, or effort. 2 people can fail at the same thing. One continues, the other stops. That single decision creates completely different futures. The difference is not talent, it is not luck, it is not even opportunity. It is how much failure a person is willing to sit with without walking away. 2. Quitting rewards the wrong voices. Not everyone around you wants you to succeed. Some people feel uncomfortable watching you try, struggle, and grow because it reminds them of what they gave up on. They may never say it out loud, but when you quit, something settles in them. Your quitting confirms their belief that trying is dangerous and failure should be avoided. It validates their own fear. Quitting doesn't silence critics, it empowers them. 3. Failure builds wisdom that success cannot. Success teaches you what worked. Failure teaches you why something didn't. Every failed attempt leaves behind information. What to avoid, what to improve, what you underestimated. No book, mentor, or video can give you this kind of understanding. When you quit, you abandon the value hidden inside your loss. You don't just stop the effort, you waste the lesson. 4. Most people quit just before clarity arrives. Confusion is not a sign that you're lost. It's a sign that you're learning something new. Growth often looks like repeated mistakes, frustration, and uncertainty before it looks like progress. Many people quit at the exact point where things start to make sense, simply because they're tired of feeling unsure. Clarity often comes after persistence, not before it. 5. If you never fail, you're not trying hard enough. Failure is evidence of movement. It means you stepped beyond comfort. It means you risked embarrassment. It means you attempted something that had no guarantees. People who never fail usually live inside what feels safe and familiar. Failure is not proof of weakness. It is proof that you are engaging with life at a serious level. He finally understood something crucial. Quitting doesn't protect you from pain. It only delays the pain and removes the possibility of growth. Failure may hurt now, but quitting hurts later, quietly, and for much longer. If you are listening to this and you feel tired, understand this first. Failure is not a sign to stop. It is a sign to adjust. History does not remember people because they never failed. It remembers them because they failed and continued anyway. Think about this. Before becoming one of the richest people in the world, Jack Ma was rejected repeatedly. Rejected from jobs, rejected from universities, rejected from opportunities people thought were basic. At one point, nothing seemed to work for him. If he had decided that failure meant he wasn't good enough, the world would never have known what he later built, or consider Walt Disney. He was told he lacked creativity. His first businesses failed. He struggled financially for years. What if he had quit after the early losses? What if he had decided the embarrassment was too much? Failure didn't mean he was finished. It meant he was still learning. Even Elon Musk nearly lost everything more than once. Early ventures collapsed. Investments nearly wiped him out. At one point, success looked like a distant idea, not a guarantee. Yet today, people speak his name as if success was inevitable. It wasn't. Persistence made it look that way. Here is the truth most people don't like to hear. We only remember the attempt that succeeded. Not because the others didn't matter, but because the others prepared the ground. Every failed business teaches you how money really works. Every broken plan teaches you what assumptions were wrong. Every disappointment sharpens your judgment. If those people had quit early, we would never know their names. Not because they were special, but because they refused to walk away while still learning. So if things are not working for you right now, pause but don't quit. Rest but don't retreat. Fail but don't surrender. Because the moment you quit, fear becomes your decision maker. And fear does not lead people to growth. It leads them to safety, comfort, and regret. Remember this. It is okay to fail once, It is okay to fail many times, but do not quit while your experience is still increasing, because the version of you that succeeds is built by the version of you that survived failure and chose to continue anyway. Failure is not your enemy. Quitting is. And as long as you are still learning, you are not finished.